Today I'm gonna share 7 kitchen staples that you're probably buying, but I'm gonna show you how to make them. I am telling you, these are so simple to make. These are the kinds of things that maybe you've just always bought them and you didn't even realize that you could make them at home. I'm gonna show you how. It's gonna be so much easier to make them, so much cheaper to make them, and way healthier. Let's go in the kitchen. We're gonna start with yogurt. This is a staple in my house. I'm gonna show you a yogurt recipe right now, and you're gonna be blown away by how simple it is. All you need is an Instant Pot and some milk and some starter yogurt. Now, hopefully you have an Instant Pot. I know they were all the rage before. I was really close to decluttering mine, and then I realized you can make yogurt in it. I use it twice a week now because I make 2 different kinds of yogurts. I make this El Ruderi yogurt, which is kind of different. So that's one, but then I also make just standard normal yogurt, and that's what we're gonna do today. So literally this is all you need. You need your Instant Pot, a starter yogurt, and then your milk. Is you're gonna just take the inside of the Instant Pot. You're gonna add some starter yogurt. So this is from Costco. This is really delicious yogurt. So I've got some left in here, if you can see that. And I'm just gonna dump a couple of tablespoons in here. I'd say about maybe 4 to be safe. So we're just gonna do an estimate. The only reason you need to add this is the yogurt starter culture. I did see this thing the other day that people who ate, I want to say 1/3 of a cup of yogurt or a little less per day actually had lower all-cause mortality rates. So basically it means they lived longer, they died from fewer things. Yogurt is really a superfood. So you're going to take this and we're going to add a little bit of milk to it and we're going to mix it up. And then we're going to just put it in the Instant Pot. The milk that I use I use vitamin D. This is the whole milk. The key is it needs to be organic and it needs to be ultra pasteurized. The thing that makes this yogurt so simple is that you don't have to boil it, let it cool, add the yogurt starter, and then do the whole yogurt process. You just add it together. And that's the beauty of this recipe, but you can only do that with ultra pasteurized because that's the safe way to do it. I'm gonna just make this whole gallon because we use a lot of yogurt in this house. By the way, you're just gonna pour a little and you're gonna whisk it all together just to incorporate it. We eat a lot of yogurt in this house because what we do is we eat it plain, maybe we put granola or honey on it, but then I also use it in baked goods. I make pancakes with it. I make waffles, cakes. You can do 1-for-1 yogurt and flour and it will actually make this really delicious bread recipe. My daughter makes bagels this way. I mean, it's really endless. You can make salad dressings and it's really healthy. I even make pancakes with this and the kids gobble them up. They love it. Okay, so that's whisked in, no big deal. And then we're gonna add the rest of this gallon. And you don't have to make a gallon if you wanna make less, you know, just make as much as you want. And I'm gonna give it one last whisk to kind of get it all in. Then we're gonna just set this in the Instant Pot and put the lid on. I've just plugged it in and this is all you're gonna do. So my Instant Pot has a yogurt setting. A lot of people when they make yogurt in the Instant Pot put it on boil first and then they put it on the yogurt. But again, because we use that ultra pasteurized milk, we don't need to do that. So we simply press yogurt and then I'm gonna set the time for 24 hours. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but let me explain why I do this. And then when it's ready, I'm just gonna stick it in the fridge. Here we go. Let me also tell you why I do this for 24 hours. When you buy yogurt at the store, it's usually fermented for 6 hours, maybe 8, possibly 10 if you're lucky. We're gonna do it for 24. That is going to give us the most culture because the longer the yogurt ferments, the more healthy yogurt bacteria there is. So essentially, you're buying this and it has maybe whatever amount of bacteria in it, but then you're gonna turn it into something that has triple, quadruple, definitely way more fermented, which means way healthier. And if you like sweetened yogurt, because I know a lot of people do, what you can do is just take a can of sweetened condensed milk and add it at this point, and you'll have sweet yogurt. It's that simple. You can also add vanilla to it if you want to do that, which kind of brings me to the next thing. I'm going to show you how to make homemade vanilla extract that will last you forever. You make it once, it lasts for your entire life. Okay, so for this vanilla recipe, what you're gonna do is you're going to get an airtight container. That's probably the most important part because you're gonna be using vodka and vanilla beans. And I'll link the vanilla beans. I bought mine on Amazon. I bought them about 5 years ago. They're still going strong. You know, this will last forever because they keep really well in the alcohol. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take those vanilla beans, put them in your container, and then you're gonna add vodka. You could also use rum. I really don't think it matters what kind of alcohol. And no matter what alcohol you're using, it's gonna bake off anyway. But you're gonna put this in here and you're gonna seal it and you're gonna leave it. I like to use mine. I let it kind of marinate for about 30 days or so. Ideally you want, 6 months to a year. And that's it. And when it gets low, you simply refill it and keep using it. Okay guys, the kitchen is a bit of a mess, but that's okay because now I'm gonna show you how to make homemade granola. This one is great to eat. You can put it on the yogurt that we made. You can put it in a bowl and eat it with milk, like cereal. You can put it on your cereal. You can eat it plain as a snack. It's delicious. I'm gonna put into a bowl. I'm still using this plastic bowl. I need to get some stainless steel ones. You guys know I've been trying to detoxify my kitchen and stainless steel is next for the bowls. I'm just gonna take some oats. These are just normal oats. You could use organic oats ideally. And you're gonna put 2 cups into this bowl. Okay, so 2 cups into there. I'm gonna add some almonds. You can add whatever you like. I would say just like half a cup. This isn't really a science. And actually you could chop these up if you wanted to. I'm just gonna add them whole. Then I'm gonna add some sea salt. This is the one, actually this is spring salt. This is the plastic free one. And a lot of you pointed out the irony that it's in a plastic bag. I totally get that. I don't know why they didn't use glass, but we're just gonna add a tiny bit. I would say maybe 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This will just give it a nice flavor. You know what else I'm gonna add? I'm gonna add some cinnamon. I would say probably I'm gonna add about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. You could do more or less. I'm also gonna add some vanilla, just kind of shake it up. I will add about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Just kind of swirl that around. And then we're gonna add the fun ingredients like this maple syrup. You could use honey. I'm gonna do 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And then I'm gonna do 1/4 cup of olive oil. So we're gonna add this olive oil in. Again, you could do something else. You could do coconut oil if you prefer. But this is what I'm gonna do. And then I'm just gonna mix this together. You could add other things to this. Some people like to add pumpkin seeds or different seeds. I'm gonna see if we have anything else to add. Some people like to add dried fruit. So I'm gonna take a cookie tray. So this is the stainless steel one that I recommended on my Amazon page that I recently replaced. I used to have an aluminum one. And then this is a food grade premium silicone tray, and I will link this one. I got this from Net Zero Co. because it's been certified and I kind of wanted to be a little safe and get something that was certified. I've been loving it. I'm just gonna turn this on to 350. I don't bake silicone higher than 350 and that's what the recipe needs anyway. If you guys watch my channel anyway, you know I don't preheat my oven. I think it's like useless, but now I'm gonna just dump this onto the baking tray. This is gonna be so good. And you could give this to your kids for like a school snack. And then I'm just gonna press this kind of out because now you want this to crunch up. So we'll just kind of like make sure to spread it out a little bit. And what's gonna happen is when you bake it, it's gonna crunch up even more. Obviously, it's gonna get nice and crispy. And then when it comes out of the oven, you're gonna let it sit for even longer. And that's gonna create these nice chunks of granola that are just amazing. Here we are, look at the deliciousness. I'm just gonna stick this in here for about 25 minutes. This looks so good. Okay, this is what it looks like, and you can kind of hear it. What I'm gonna do because I think it needs to crisp up a tiny bit more. I'm gonna leave it for about 5 more minutes. I'm just gonna shut the oven off. It's already at 350, so I'm gonna shut the oven off, leave it in there for 5 minutes, then take it out, and then it'll crisp up even more on the counter. Look at this. You can store this granola in a glass container like I'm using. I also have a stainless steel bowl now that I've been using, and it will generally keep for quite some time. Okay, this is what the yogurt looks like, and I just added some homemade granola on it. Oh my gosh. So good. You guys are gonna love this yogurt. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you my recipe for tortillas. And I think this is a staple because we go through at least 6 of them a day with my kids. They love chicken quesadillas and things like that. But you can also use these for tacos. You can make sandwiches and wraps out of them. You could use them for, like, if you want to make like a homemade pizza. This could be the pizza crust, like a thin crust pizza. I use bread machine because I'm lazy. But all you're gonna do, it's so simple. It just takes flour, oil, salt, baking powder, and water. Literally, that's it. I add all of that to the bread machine, and then I'm gonna do the next step after that. So let me show you. So I'm gonna do 3 cups of flour into the bread machine. But again, you don't need a bread machine if you don't have one. I just use mine, and I set it on dough because it's just very simple. I don't have to do any mixing. Okay, and then I'm adding a cup of water, half a teaspoon of salt, and then 1/3 of a cup of oil. I'm using olive oil. You can really use any oil that you want. And then I'm adding in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I've heard some people say that they don't use baking powder in tortillas, but that's what we're gonna try. And then I'm setting this on dough. So this says 50 minutes, but it's not gonna go that long. Basically, the 50 minutes is more for if it needs a rise time. So this should be done in 15 minutes. So after the dough comes together, it's gonna look like this, and you're gonna let it sit for 2 hours. That is key because that's gonna relax the gluten enough, and you'll be able to roll it out really thin. Then you're gonna separate it when it's ready into 8 balls, and those are gonna be what you use to roll out. So it makes about 8 tortillas. Okay, so you're gonna add the dough, and then you're gonna flatten it out. You don't have to use a tortilla press. I got this for my birthday, so that's why I'm using it. And you just flatten it out and get it to the size you want, and you push this down. If the dough gets flat and then, or if you roll it out and it expands and then it quickly contracts, it means you need to let the dough sit for like another 10 or 15 more minutes to relax the gluten. If you roll it out and it stays, like this is staying, it's not contracting back, you're good to go. And then you're just gonna stick it in the pan. Okay, so this is on medium. It's been preheating for just a couple of minutes, maybe 3 minutes. And then I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna do 2 minutes on each side. Just get it in there and kind of mold it. And 2 minutes on each side. And then we're gonna put them on a plate, cover them with a towel. They're gonna sit and steam each other, and then they're gonna be perfect. Oops. Here's the final product, and I am now gonna make little mini pizzas for my kids that you can hear upstairs, and they have a friend over. And I'm just gonna put marinara sauce on top of them, and then I'm gonna grate up some mozzarella cheese and broil them in the oven. I found some pepperoni in the fridge, left over from the Super Bowl, so this is gonna go on broil just for 3, 4, 5 minutes. The next thing that I'm gonna show you what I always make, and it's super simple because you can just use leftover bread for this. It's breadcrumbs. And so I'll just show you what I do. It's super simple, but what's great about this is if you have the ends, like the heel of bread, and you want to not throw it away, maybe your kids don't eat it, maybe you don't like it, just save it, stick it in the freezer, and when you're ready, you can turn it into breadcrumbs. I do this with stale bread. We have stale bread all the time, any kind of bread. Just stick it all in the freezer until you're ready to make the breadcrumbs, and let me show you how you make them. Hopefully you have something like a food processor like this, but if you don't, you can also use a blender. But you're gonna essentially take your old stale bread, tear it up and put it in here, and it's gonna turn into crumbs, and then we're gonna bake them. So just tear up your bread into chunks, and I just mix all kinds of random bread that I had left over. I mixed in some tortillas, and then you're gonna make it into breadcrumbs, and you're just gonna kind of pulse it for a little bit and get it to that state. And then once you have that, you're just gonna put it onto your baking tray and get it kind of flattened out, almost similar to the granola, and you're gonna bake this on 350. And you're just gonna bake it briefly. I'd say 10 or 15 minutes. It'll be a nice golden brown, and that's when you'll know it's done, and it'll also smell nice and toasted. Okay, these should be done. They look nice and crispy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave them on the counter for about 10 minutes, and they're gonna really crisp up, just sitting there. And then I'm gonna stick them in some sort of container and put them in the freezer, and they will last forever. And then whenever I need them, I could just put them, break them up, use them on whatever. These smell so good. So after it's kind of cooled, you're just gonna take it all from your tray and you're gonna store it. I put mine into jars. These are just old pasta sauce jars that I reuse for storage, and I just filled them up. So I got 2 jars of these, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna freeze this one, and they thaw in like 2 seconds, so you can freeze them indefinitely. And then I'm gonna make mac and cheese and use the second one to put on top. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy these recipes, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.